Welcome back to Inside City Hall, where we are turning our attention to next year's midterm elections. Some congressional races are already taking shape, including right here in Manhattan, where longtime Representative Jerry Nadler is not seeking re-election. And already there is a crowded field of Democrats looking to succeed him. That is a look at just some of the current contenders. The district, New York's 12th congressional district, spans Manhattan's Upper East and Upper West sides and stretches down through Midtown all the way to roughly 14th Street, including right here in Chelsea, which is currently represented in the City Council by my next guest, City Councilmember Erik Bottcher, who is among those who have thrown their hat into the ring in this race. His district also stretches up to Hell's Kitchen and down into the West Village. Welcome back to the program. Thank you for joining us.
So much.
So you've got a pretty good gig already. You're in the City Council. You just won re-election to a 4-year term. So tell us why you want to go down to Washington and be a member of Congress.
I did just win re-election last week. 90% of the vote. I was so excited about that. And my joke about that is, when is the last time you ever saw 90% of New Yorkers agree on anything?
Well,
Very proud of that.
There's not a lot of Republicans in your district.
General election still. Our country is under attack in a way that I don't believe it's been under attack in 250 years. I love my country so deeply, and I'm heartbroken by what is happening right now. We have a president who's openly threatening to throw out the Constitution. He has said that. I never thought, ever in my life, we would ever see that in our country. He is a bully, and we, the Democratic Party, are letting him push us around. Let me tell you about me. I have been taking on bullies my entire life. I am from a tiny town in the Adirondack Mountains. Growing up as the only gay kid I knew, I knew bullies at a very young age, and I overcame suicide attempts. I was hospitalized for a month after a series of suicide attempts, but it was in New York City where I found a home. I found a place that accepted me. That's been the story of New York City for 400 years. It's the New York City dream that I've lived as becoming an activist and then a New York City Council member representing the west side of Manhattan in the New York City Council. And for my 25 years in New York City, I've been fighting the right wing and winning, whether it was in the halls of Albany when we won marriage equality, or when they invaded my home. Right-wing extremists came after me because of my advocacy. 2 of them were arrested in my lobby. A 3rd was arrested for assaulting one of my neighbors, but we did not back down. We stood strong. This was in defense of Drag Story Hour. We stood strong and we won. And that's the kind of fight that we need in Washington now, at a time when it seems like there's not enough fight going on. We need it now to save our country.
What does that look like, though, when you talk about the fight and standing up to a bully? What can you do as a member of Congress that's not already being done?
Well, one thing we need to do is defund Donald Trump. We, as a city and as a state, we send billions of dollars of tax revenue to Washington, D.C. every year, more than we get back. We've got Donald Trump canceling our infrastructure projects, cutting our education funding, cutting our Homeland Security funding. If he's going to defund New York City, we need to defund him. We also need to stand up when it comes time to do so, like with this government shutdown. And I'm so proud of the way that the Democrats stood up for health care when it counted the most. Look, my brother, his wife, and my niece and nephews, they depend on those ACA subsidies for health care. This is personal to me. It's personal to thousands and thousands of people in our community. But the way that the Senate Democrats, those 8 Senate Democrats, folded, that is an example of why we're not winning. We need to be strong, because the people will be with us. If we stand up, the people will be with us. The polls have shown again and again, and we saw it on last Tuesday on Election Day, the people will reward us if we stand up That's what we need to do.
So speaking of last Tuesday, you supported Zoran Mamdani. Obviously, he shocked the political world with the campaign that he ran. Is there anything that you can learn from Mamdani and his campaign and apply it to your own race?
This is what we should all learn from Zoran Mamdani's campaign. He painted a picture of what's possible, of what can be. It was so much more than about what he was against. It was what he was for. Free and fast buses, lower rents, cheaper groceries. And even if you don't agree with the policy prescriptions for those things, he made people feel hope. And that's what we need to do on the national level. And I happen to believe that we can achieve all the things we dream of. We can have the more perfect union that our founders envisioned, but only if we have smart, strong leadership. And one of the reasons why I believe we can achieve those things is because if you look back at all the progress we have made over the last century, my grandmother died a few years ago at the age of 104. When she was born in 1916, women did not have the right to vote. A simple scratch often would kill you because penicillin had yet to be invented. People of her generation went west in covered wagons and flew east on jet airplanes. We're going to see in our lifetime that kind of progress, those kind of improvements in our society. But the improvements and the progress that her generation made, they didn't just happen automatically. They happened because they fought for it. They put their bodies on the line, they put their lives on the line, they advocated, and they made it happen. And we need to do that now, and we can accomplish more than we're even envisioning now.
Let me ask you, just our last minute or so, to size up the opposition in this race. It's a crowded field. There is sort of this narrative that Assemblyman Michael Lasher, who is thought of as sort of the heir apparent to the seat, has the blessing of outgoing Congressman Nadler, although not formally endorsed at this point. Is that accurate? Is he the man to beat in this race?
He's going to be very formidable. I think all the candidates in the race are going to be very formidable, and I'm really excited to put our backgrounds, our visions out there and let the voters decide. Last night, I got to meet Jack Schlossberg for the first time, and the first thing I wanted to know...
Grandson of John F. Kennedy.
That's right. The first thing I wanted to know is who's taller, and I'm this much taller. So, that's a good thing, I guess. But we're going to see in the next 8 months, and I'm really excited for it.
It's going to be fun. All right, Erik Bottcher, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.